everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be going over the 2019 Hyundai Veloster. So first, what I actually want to mention is this particular Hyundai dealership, it is Ken Garff Hyundai in Southtown, does have an N spec. They aren't doing test drives or anything with that particular car just because it's a special edition. They're not going to get that many allocations, and they don't want to put miles on the ones that they have. But please leave down in the comment section below if you guys would like me to at least do a walk around on that car to go over the features of it. But with that being said, if you are stopping in for the first time, please subscribe, and then definitely check out Ken Garff Hyundai in Southtown if you are in the market for a new Hyundai. But let's get right into the video where we're going to do a walk around on the car, and then we will also take out the Veloster Turbo to see how it drives. So under the hood here of the Veloster Turbo is a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder. You can get a 2 liter 4-cylinder as well. The power outputs on the 2 liter 4-cylinder are 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque. On this turbo model, you get 201 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. That is all through a 7-speed automatic transmission. And then in terms of fuel economy, you're going to be 28 in the city and 34 on the highway. Now, wrapping things up on the front, I actually really like this new headlight design. I think it looks a lot more aggressive than the previous generation, and they've got these cool little LED accents. You can see all the little dots that will illuminate when the light is on just below the projector bulb. It looks really, really cool. Does have a fake air intake right there. That's okay though. Definitely adds to the styling, and then I like the overall styling with the front end grille. Like I said, this new Veloster looks significantly more modern and more aggressive compared to the last generation, and how they do like the kind of like faux front splitter type design on the front. It looks really, really cool. Now, coming around to the side of the Veloster, we can see we've got some 18-inch rims, and they've got this really neat design, and then you can see the brake caliper painted in silver just right there in the center, but I don't really see rims like this all that often, so it's definitely really unique. And then I don't think the camera is doing this paint job a lot of justice. It's kind of like a unique white. It's more of like a flat color, but that being said, it's definitely not like your run-of-the-mill white. It looks a little bit different. It's kind of hard to explain. It's definitely a color you'd have to see in person. Now, coming around to the back, we've got the key fob for the Veloster. It's got Hyundai on the back, but you've got some functions, lock and unlock, and then you have hold for the tailgate release. Basically, you hold that, and that's what unlocks the tailgate. But I like the feel of this key fob. It looks really cool as well. Now, finishing things up in the rear, I like the spoiler design on the new Veloster, and then I also love these new taillights. They've kind of got this cool little design with the LEDs. Kind of reminds me of what they have in the Lambos, so I'm wondering if they kind of borrowed it from that right there with the little LEDs back there, but kind of got a little bit more with the fake air intakes in the back, and then we do get a dual exhaust right there in the center. Definitely looks cool, and then they've got little rear diffuser. Now, this is a 3-door. Since it is a Veloster, they've stuck true to that. We can see the door panel here for the rear. You've got some kind of soft touch material right here, and then you've got your window control. It does have the Infinity sound system, so the speakers right there on the side. And then looking over at these seats back here, you've got some nice contrasted stitching on these back seats, and then they have these little kind of like cloth inserts back here as well. And then we can actually fold this seat down so we can see the cargo space. Honestly, couldn't get the trunk open for some reason. I don't know if I'm missing something with the latch system, but just so you guys can view the trunk from right there. But you can fold these seats down if you need extra storage space, and legroom's a little bit better than what I thought it would be. It's definitely not great back here, but I mean, it is a 3-door car, so it's good that they even give you any sort of legroom back here in general. Now, coming around to the front, it does have keyless entry, so one touch will lock it, and then you touch it again, that'll unlock it. We can see the door panel here for the front. You've got more of that nice soft touch here. You're going to rest your arm. It's got a cool design on the front. All of your window controls up here, mirror controls, and then the door handle has this cool little design. I like how it looks, actually. But overall, pretty normal door panel. You can see again the Infinity sound system with this speaker right there. And then this is something that's interesting. So you do get manually adjustable seats, probably to save weight on this sportier trim. And then you've got your little release for the gas, hood release, and then you can see the pedal setup just down below. Now, these are the seats in the Veloster Turbo. They look really, really cool. So they've got a leather headrest and then leather bolsters, and then they've got the cloth inserts. It's got a cool little like pinstripe down the center, more of the red contrast and stitching. And they definitely will hold you in place a little bit better with those aggressive bolsters, but it's not super tight. I sit in these seats really comfortably, actually, and they're just cool looking. I just like the design of the seats overall. So stepping in, the Veloster step height's actually really easy to get into the car. A little bit lower than an SUV or something like that. But first off, let's actually start over here. We've got our little controls for the blind spot, and then we do have our controls for the lane departure assistance. So it's nice that they give you some safety tech with this. But to start up the Veloster, all you have to do is put your foot on the brake, push the push start button. Gauges will do a sweep. It'll do the system check thing right there in the center, and then the Veloster will start right up. Now that we're looking at the steering wheel, we can see we have the controls for the cruise control right here. You've got this pages button. That'll go over in the center screen. We'll go over that momentarily. But on the other side of the steering wheel, we've got all our controls for the voice commands, Bluetooth, and phone, and all of your radio controls in general. And the steering wheel is wrapped with leather. It's got stitching on it, and then you kind of see that little red pinstripe down at the bottom of the steering wheel. Hyundai logo front and center, but I like the design of it, and it's a good size as well. Now looking at the gauge cluster here, we have the RPMs on the left side. We've got our speed on the right side with the fuel gauge. And then in that center, you've got the little pages tab that you can scroll through a bunch of different little pages to give you different bits of information on the car. You can see all the different bits that you can see on the car. So it's nice that they give you that little configurable screen right there that you can scroll through all those menus to see all of that info. Hyundai's new infotainment system right here in the center. It is a touchscreen system. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay on this, so I'm glad they add that so I can make the touchscreen look like my phone screen. But you can see you can do your calling, texting, Bluetooth, all of that through this touchscreen. Radio is going to be through there as well. But what I really like, and you guys know that I love this, analog controls for the radio. So you've got some shortcut buttons that'll go to the touchscreen right here. So it's nice that they give you the shortcuts via analog, but you can also do the touchscreen function. So it's an either or, whatever you prefer. And then if we do pop the Veloster into reverse, a backup camera will pop up. We've got little trajectory lines with this backup camera, so it makes parking this car a lot easier, and it's a small car in general, so it's not difficult to park anyways. We can see we've got our climate controls right here, so you got your little analog climate control section just down here, and then below that you've got little charging stations, so a bunch of 12-volt USB auxiliary as well. On to the more important part of the car, I would say, and this is kind of going to go along with the driving. So we've got our shifter for that 7-speed automatic. You do get a dual shift mode with the bump stick function, but we do get these nice paddles on the back of the steering wheel, so you can shift the gears with this or with the paddles if you want. Heated seats are actually on the side of the shifter here, stability control, and then we've got our drive modes. So you press that and that'll pop up here in the center screen right here, and you can see you've got a couple different drive modes: normal, sport, and smart, depending on how you're going to be driving at the particular time. And just below the shifter, we've got our cup holders. Little traditional e-brake, so it's nice that they still give you this, so if you do want to do e-brake slides in your new Veloster Turbo, you can. We've got our center console here. Nothing too fancy, but pretty normal center console. Storage space in there, it's a pretty regular size actually, so like I said, nothing crazy there. And then if we actually do pop over here, we have our glove box, and it's a decent sized glove box. And again, I mean, nothing crazy there, but for the car, it's like I said, it's a decent size. Looking up above here, we have a sunroof. It's just a regular sunroof. You wouldn't need a full panoramic unit just because of the size of the car, but it does have an automatic shade with the sunroof, and that'll let a little bit of extra light into the cabin here with the Veloster. Now, I'm trying to remember to put these in my videos. Sorry if I forget, but this is the window sticker here for this Veloster Turbo. You can see that, like I said, the white's a little bit different, so it's called chalk white, but we can see all the options that this particular one has. Total price on this particular Veloster Turbo with the added options that this one has. But there you go, just for you guys that are always asking about price. To wrap things up on the interior, I actually like the interior. And this is kind of like a more middle of the line trim. It's not like a fully loaded, decked out version. And so in terms of the interior materials used in this particular version, they're actually really nice for the packaging that this is. But now that we are done going over the walk around portion, let's take out the new Veloster Turbo to see how it drives. Setting off here in the 2019 Veloster, and first thing I'm noticing is I kind of love the size of this car because it just feels so small and nimble, but it makes very good use of that, the size that it does have in terms of storage space. Officially setting off in the Veloster. First thing I want to mention on visibility, so it's good that this car has blind spot monitoring on it. Around, kind of like in that back area, there's a little bit of a blind spot. Other than that, visibility through the rest of the car is actually really, really solid. In terms of, ride quality in the car, it actually rides pretty smooth. It is a little bit harsher, but I mean, it's because it's a sportier car, so what you're giving up in smooth ride quality, you're gonna get in suspension and handling. We are gonna take the Veloster Turbo onto the Interstate, just see how it drives there, ride quality wise, and then acceleration. And then something that I am noticing is the steering on this is actually pretty responsive. Like it's super direct, it goes right where you want it to go. But it does have a little bit more effort into it, which I like on sports cars. I don't like them to be super, super light, so I'm glad that they've kind of tuned the steering on this so that you get a little bit more feel through the steering wheel. Now we're gonna get our acceleration here with this turbocharged motor. Yeah, that new 7-speed does really, really well. It actually shifts through the gears really quickly, and 201 horsepower does not sound like a lot, but this car is so small and so lightweight that it's more than enough power for the car. Now, ride quality on the Interstate is super smooth as well, and I mean, there's not a whole lot of road noise compared to more like a luxury-based vehicle. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit more road noise, but it's not bad at all. Now, to sum things up on the Veloster, what I would say is if you're in the market for like a sportier car and you want something that's a little bit more practical, this one has the hatchback. I know the 3-door setup's a little bit different, but it's kind of cool and unique. And so you get that added practicality with the back seats and with the cargo space in the back as well. Then this is definitely a solid option to check out, because you know, a lot of other vehicles that are lighter weight like this and just kind of have that more fun driving experience, they just aren't nearly as practical. They have just 2 doors, don't have back seats at all, and so you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get that added fun, but then you also get some practicality as well. And there we have it, everyone, the 2019 Veloster Turbo. And like I said before, if you want me to do the walk around on that end spec that they have, please just let me know. But as always, if you are stopping in for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you thought, and then a big shout out and thank you to Ken Garf, Hyundai in Southtown here for providing us with the vehicle. But I will see all of you in that next video.